Dandava pranams, good morning. We are going to continue the reading of Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and we are starting Antya-līlā chapter 4. Sanātana Gosvāmī visits the Lord. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki Jai, Srila Kṛṣṇa Das Kaviraj Gosvāmī Prabhu ki Jai, Srila S.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. So, Antya-līlā chapter 4, text 1. Are you ready, Devananda Prabhu? Vrindavanat Puna Praptam Sri Gaura Sri Sanātanam Deha Pratat Avan Snedhat Sudham Chakre Parikshaya. When Sanātana Gosvāmī returned from Vrindavan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu affectionately saved him from his determination to commit suicide. Then, after testing him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu purified his body. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nilachala Haiti Rupa Gaude Jove Gela, Mathura Haite Sanātana, Nilachala Aila. When Sri Rupa Gosvāmī returned from Jagannath Purī to Bengal, Sanātana Gosvāmī went from Mathura to Jagannath Purī to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jarikanda Vanapate Aila Ekela Chalila Kabhu Upavasa Kabhu Charvana Kariya. Sanātana Gosvāmī walked alone on the path through Jarikanda forest in central India. Sometimes he fasted and sometimes he would eat. Jarikandera Jalera Doshe Upavasa Haite Gatre Kandu Haila Rasa Pode Kaju Jaite. Because of bad water in Jarikanda and because of fasting, Sanātana Gosvāmī contracted a disease that made his body itch. Thus he was afflicted with itching sores from which fluid oozed. Nirveda Haila Pate Korena Vichara Nicha Yati Deha Mora Atyanta Asara. In disappointment, Sanātana Gosvāmī considered, I am of a low caste and my body is useless for devotional service. At that time, there were no cars or planes, so he was walking all the way from Vrindavan through the Jarikanda forest to Purī Dham. Jagannātha Gela Tanra Darsana Na Paimu Prabhura Darsana Sada Korite Narimu. When I go to Jagannath Purī, I shall not be able to see Lord Jagannath, nor shall I always be able to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mandira Nikate Suni Tanra Vasa Stiti. Mandira Nikate Jaite Mora Nahi Sakti. I have heard that the residential quarters of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are near the temple of Jagannath, but I shall not have the power to go near the temple. Jagannātera Sevaka Pere Karya Anurodhe Tanra Sparsa Haile Mora Hove Aparadhe. The servants of Lord Jagannath generally move about tending to their duties, but if they touch me, I should be an offender. Tate Jodi Ei Deha Bala Stane Dije Dukha Santi Haya Ara Sat Gati Paiche. Therefore, if I sacrifice this body in a good place, my unhappiness will be mitigated, and I should attain an exalted destination. Jagannātha Ratra Yatraya Hai Vena Bahira Tanra Rata Chakaya Chadimu Ei Sarira. During the Ratra Yatra festival, when Lord Jagannath comes out of the temple, I shall give up this body under the wheel of his cart. Mahaprabhura age ara deki Jagannātha, ratri deha chadimu ei parama purusartha. After seeing Lord Jagannath, I shall give up my body under the wheel of the cart in the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This will be the highest benediction of my life. Eita nishchoi kori nila chale aila, loke puchi haridasa stane utarila. Having made this resolution, Sanatana Goswami went to Nilachal, where he inquired the directions from people and approached the residence of Haridas Thakur. Haridasera kaila tenha charana bandana, jani Haridasa tanre koila alingana. He offered his respects to the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur, who knew him and thus embraced him. Mahaprabhu dekite tanra ukantita mana Haridasa kohe, Prabhu asivena ekana. Sanatana Goswami was very eager to see the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore Haridas Thakur said, "The Lord is coming here very soon." Hena kole, Prabhu upala boga dekiya Haridasa milite aila, bhakta gana lanya. At that very moment, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after visiting the temple of Jagannath to see the offerings of upala boga, morning refreshment, came with his other devotees to Sri Haridas Thakur. Prabhu deki dunhe pode dandavat hanya, Prabhu alingila Haridasere utanya. Seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they both immediately fell flat like rods to offer obeisances. The Lord then lifted Haridas and embraced him. Haridas kohe, Sanatana kore namaskara, Sanatane deki Prabhu haila chamatkara. Haridas Thakur said to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "Here is Sanatana Goswami offering his obeisances." Seeing Sanatana Goswami, the Lord was greatly surprised. Sanatane alingite Prabhu agu haila, pache bhage Sanatana kahite lagila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came forward to embrace him, Sanatana backed away and spoke as follows: "Morena chuniha Prabhu padon tomara paya, eke nicha jati adama, ara kandu rasa gaya. My Lord, please do not touch me. I fall at your lotus feet. I am the lowest of men. Having been born of a low caste, besides that, I have infections on my body." Infections. You remember, right? He got infections in his body because he went through the Jarikanda forest and wasn't drinking good water and fasting, and the sores were itching his body and oozing liquid was oozing out from his wounds. Bolat kore Prabhu tanre alingana kaila, kandu kleda Mahaprabhura Sri Ange lagila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, embraced Sanatana Goswami by force. Thus, the moisture oozing from the itching sores touched the transcendental body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Saba Bhakta Gane Prabhu Milaila Sanatane, Sanatana Kaila Savara Charana Vandane. The Lord introduced all the devotees to Sanatana Goswami, who offered his respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of them all. Prabhu Lanya Vasila Pindara Upare Bhakta Gana, Pindara Tole Vasila Haridasa Sanatana. The Lord and his devotees sat on a raised platform, and below that sat Haridas Thakur and Sanatana Goswami. Kusala Bharta Mahaprabhu Puchena Sanatane, Tenha Kohena Parama Mangala Dekinu Charane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from Sanatana Goswami about news of his well-being. Sanatana replied, Everything is auspicious because I have seen your lotus feet. Maturara Vaishnava Savera Kushala Puchila Savara Kusala Sanātana Jana-līlā. When the Lord asked about all the Vaishnavas at Mathura, Sanātana Gosvāmī informed him of their good health and fortune. Prabhu kohe, Ihan Rupa Chila Dasa Masa, Ihan Haite Gaude Gela, Haila Dina Dasha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed Sanātana Gosvāmī, Srila Rupa Goswami was here for 10 months. He left for Bengal just 10 days ago. Tomarabai Anupamera Haila Ganga Prapti, Balachila Raghunate Dridha Tara Bhakti. Your brother Anupama is now dead. He was a very good devotee who had firm conviction in Raghunath, Lord Ramachandra. Sanātana kohe, Nicha Vamse Mora Janma, Adharma Anjaya Jata Amara Kula Dharma. Sanātana Goswami said, I was born in a low family, for my family commits all kinds of irreligious acts that violate the scriptural injunctions. Hena Bamsa Grina Chadi Kaila Angikara Tomara Kripaya Bamse Mangala Amara. My Lord, without hatred for my family, you have accepted me as your servant. Only by your mercy is there good fortune in my family. Say Anupama Bai Sishu Kala Haite, Raghunatha Upasana Kore Dridha Chite. From the very beginning of his childhood, my young brother Anupama was a great devotee of Raghunath, Lord Ramachandra, and he worshipped him with great determination. Ratri Dini Raghunatera Nama Ara Dhyana Ramajana Nirabadi Sune Kore Gana. He always chanted the holy name of Raghunath and meditated upon him. He continuously heard about the activities of the Lord from the Ramayan and chanted about them. Ami Ara Rupa, Tara Jesta Sahodara, Amadonha Sange Tenha Rahe Nirantara. Rupa and I are his elder brothers. He stayed with us continuously. Ama Sava Sange Krishna Kata, Bhagavata Sune, Tahara Pariksha Kailun, Amidui Jane. He heard Sriman Bhagavatam and talks about Lord Krishna with us, and both of us examined him. Sunaha Balapha Krishna Parama Madhura, Saundarya Madhurya Prema Vilasa Prachura. Dear Balaba, we said, please hear from us. Lord Krishna is supremely attractive. His beauty, sweetness, and pastimes of love are without limits. Krishna Bhajana Kore, Tumi Ama Dunhara Sange, Tina Bai Ekatra Rahimu, Krishna Kata Range. Engage yourself in devotional service to Krishna with both of us. We three brothers shall stay together and enjoy discussing the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Ei mata bara bara kahi dui jana amadunhara gaurave kichu piri gelamana. In this way we both spoke to him again and again, and because of his persuasion and his respect for us, his mind turned somewhat towards our instructions. Tomadunhara Anya Ami Kemanu Lagimu, Diksha Mantra Deha Krishna Bhajana Karimu. Balaba replied, my dear brothers, so Anupama is also, the name of Anupama is Balabha, replied. He said to them, my dear brothers, how can I disobey your orders? Initiate me into the Krishna mantra so that I may perform devotional service to Lord Krishna. Eta kohi ratri kale karena chintana kemane chadimu raghunatera charana. After saying this, at night he began to think, how shall I give up the lotus feet of Lord Raghunath, of that means Lord Ramachandra. Savaratri Krandana Kori Kaila Jagarana Prata Kale Ama Dunhaya Kaila Nivedana. He stayed up all night and cried. In the morning he came to us and submitted the following plea. Raghunatera Pada Padme Bechiya Chon Mata Kadite Na Paron Mata Pana Bada Vyata. I have sold my head at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. I cannot take it away. That would be too painful for me. Kripa Kori More Anya Deha Dui Jana Janme Janme Sebon Raghunatera Charana. Both of you, please be merciful to me and order me in such a way so that life after life I may serve the lotus feet of Lord Raghunath. Raghunatera Pada Padma Chadana Na Yaya Shadivara Mane Haile Pranapati Yaya. It is impossible for me to give up the lotus feet of Lord Raghunath. When I even think of giving them up, my heart breaks. Tobe ami dunhe tare, alingana kailun, sadhu dridha bhakti tumara, kohi prasam silun. Upon hearing this, both of us embraced him and encouraged him by saying, you are a great saintly devotee, for your determination in devotional service is fixed. In this way, we both praised him. Jevan sera upare tomara, haya kripa lesha, sakala mangala tahe, kande saba klesha. My dear Lord, the family upon which you bestow even a little mercy is always fortunate, for such mercy makes all miseries disappear. Gosvāmī Kohena, ei mata murari gupta, purve ami parik silun, tanra ei rita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, there was a similar incident concerning Murari Gupta. Formerly, I examined him, and his determination was similar. Sei Bhakta Danya Jena Chade Prabhura Charana. Sei Prabhu Danya Jena Chade Niya Jana. Glorious is that devotee who does not give up the shelter of his Lord, and glorious is that Lord who does not abandon his servant. Durdaive Sevaka Jodi Yaya Anja Stane Sei Takura Danya Tare Chule Dari Anne. If by chance a servant falls down and goes somewhere else, glorious is that master who captures him and brings him back by the hair. Bala Haila Tomara Ihan, Haila Agamane, Ei Gore Raha Ihan, Haridase Sane. It is very good that you have arrived here. Now stay in this room with Haridas Thakur. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Dunhe Parama Pradana, Krishna Rasa Aswadana Koro, Laha Krishna Nama. Both of you are expert in understanding the mellows of Lord Krishna's devotional service. Therefore, you should both continue relishing the taste of such activities and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Etaboli Mahaprabhu, Utiya, Chalila, Govinda Dwaraja, Dunhe, Prasada, Pataila. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and left, and through Govinda he sent prasadam for them to eat. Govinda was the Lord's servant. Ei mata Sanātana rohe Prabhu stane, Jagannātha chakra deki korena praname. In this way, Sanatana Goswami stayed under the care of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would see the wheel on the pinnacle of the Jagannath temple and offer respectful obeisances. Prabhu asi pratidina milena duijane, ista gosti Krishna kata kohe kata sane. Every day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go there to meet these two stalwart devotees and discuss topics of Kṛṣṇa with them for some time. Which two of them? Just to check. Which two of them was he discussing topics of Kṛṣṇa Mahaprabhu every day? And Haridas Thakur. So Sanātana Gosvāmī was staying with Haridas Thakur, and they both, every day Mahaprabhu would go and meet them and discuss topics of Kṛṣṇa with them both. Divya Prasada Paya Nitya Jagannātha Mandire Taha Ani Nitya Avasya Dena Donha Kare. The offerings of prasadam in the temple of Lord Jagannath were of the highest quality. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would bring this prasadam and deliver it to both devotees. Ekadina Asi Prabhu Dunhare Milila Sanātane Achambite Kahite Lagila. One day when the Lord came to meet them, he suddenly began speaking to Sanātana Gosvāmī. Sanātana deha tyage Krishna Jodi Paye Koti deha Kṣṇeke Tobe Chadite Parije. My dear Sanātana, he said, if I could attain Kṛṣṇa by committing suicide, I would certainly give up millions of bodies without a moment's hesitation. Deha tyage Krishna na pai, paije bhajane, Krishna pratyera upaya kona nahi bhakti vine. You should know that one cannot attain Kṛṣṇa simply by giving up the body. Kṛṣṇa is attainable by devotional service. There is no other means to attain him. Deha tyagadi jata soba tamo dharma. Tamo rajo dharme Krishnera na paye marma. Acts such as suicide are influenced by the mode of ignorance. And in ignorance and passion, one cannot understand who Kṛṣṇa is. Bhakti vina Krishna kaphu, nahe premodaya. Prema vina Krishna prapti anja haite naya. Unless one discharges devotional service, one cannot awaken one's dormant love for Kṛṣṇa. And there is no means to attain him other than awakening that dormant love. Na sadajati man yogo, na sankyam dharma udava, na swadhyajas tapas tyago, jata bhaktir mamorjita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kṛṣṇa, said, my dear Uddhava, neither through Astanga Yoga, the mystic yoga system to control the senses, not through impersonal monism or an analytical study of the absolute truth, not through a study of the Vedas, not through austerities, charity, or acceptance of sannyas, can one satisfy me as much as by developing unalloyed devotional service unto me. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:14.20. Deha tyagadi tamo dharma pataka karana sadaka napaya tate Krishnera charana. Measures like suicide are cause for sin. A devotee never achieves shelter of Krishna's lotus feet by such actions. Premi bhakta viyoge chahe deha charite prema Krishna miles seha na pare marite. Because of feelings of separation from Kṛṣṇa, an exalted devotee sometimes wants to give up his life. By such ecstatic love, however, one attains the audience of Kṛṣṇa, and at that time he cannot give up his body. Gadha anuragera viyoga na yaya sahana, tate anuragi banche apana marana. One who is deeply in love with Kṛṣṇa cannot tolerate separation from the Lord. Therefore, such a devotee always desires his own death. And there is another long sloka here. Are you almost ready with the garlands? So we can give darshan of the Lord. As soon as you finish, please. O lotus-eyed one, great personalities like Lord Shiva desire to bathe in the dust of your lotus feet to drive away ignorance. If I do not get the mercy of your lordship, I shall observe vows to reduce the duration of my life, and thus I should give up bodies for hundreds of births, if it is possible to get your mercy in that way. Purport. This verse was spoken by Rukmini Devi in Srimad Bhagavatam. Rukmini Devi, the daughter of King Bhishmaka, had heard about Krishna's transcendental attributes, and thus she desired to get Krishna as her husband. Unfortunately, her elder brother Rukmi was envious of Krishna, and therefore wanted her to be offered to Shishupal. When Rukmini became aware of this, she was greatly aggrieved. Thus wrote Krishna a confidential letter, which was presented and read to him by a Brahmana messenger. This verse appeared in that letter, that verse that we just read. Oh dear Krishna, by your smiling glances and melodious talk, you have awakened a fire of lusty desires in our hearts. Now you should extinguish that fire with a stream of nectar from your lips by kissing us. Kindly do this, otherwise, dear friend, the fire within our hearts will burn our bodies to ashes because of separation from you. Thus, by meditation, we shall claim shelter at your lotus feet. Purport. This verse from Bhagavatam was spoken by the gopis when they were attracted by the vibration of Krishna's flute in the moonlight of autumn. All of them, being maddened, came to Krishna, but to increase their ecstatic love, Krishna gave them moral instruction to return home. The gopis did not care for these instructions. They wanted to be kissed by Krishna, for they had come there with lusty desires to dance with him. So of course we have to read this with complete respect and not to think that this is compared with mundane lusty desires. This is completely outside our limited capacity, mental concoction. Kubudhi chadiya kara shravana kirtana achirat pave tave krishnera charana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanātana Gosvāmī, give up all your nonsensical desires, for they are unfavorable for getting shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Engage yourself in chanting and hearing. Then you will soon achieve the shelter of Krishna without a doubt. You know why he's telling that to Sanātana Gosvāmī? What did Sanātana Gosvāmī wanted to do? Commit suicide, right? Under the will of Lord Jagannātha. Because he felt unfit to serve, because his body was completely covered in wounds, and he felt like his body was not fit for service.
It felt like even if he touched them, that would be enough. Even if he would touch the pujaris, that would be enough.
Right. So he tried to avoid going near the pujaris of Lord Jagannātha. Nicha jati, you are paying attention. Nicha jati nahe Krishna vajana abhogya. Satkula vipra nahe vajanera yogya. A person born in a low family is not unfit for discharging devotional service to Lord Krishna. Nor is one fit for devotional service simply because he is born in an aristocratic family of brahmanas. Jai vaje sei bada abhakta hina chara. Krishna vajane nahi jati kuladi bichara. Anyone who takes to devotional service is exalted, whereas a non-devotee is always condemned and abominable. Therefore, in the discharge of devotional service to the Lord, there is no consideration of the status of one's family. Dinere adhika daya kore, Bhagavan. Kulina Pandita Danira Vada Abhimana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kṛṣṇa, is always favorable to the humble and meek. But aristocrats, learned scholars, and the wealthy are always proud of their positions. And we can read one last verse and then give darshan of the Lord. Viprat Dvisat Guna Jutat Aravinda Nabha Padaravinda Vimukha Swapacham Varistam Manjatat Arpita Mano Vachane Hitarta Pranam Punati Sa Kulam Na Tu Burimana. One may be born in a Brahmana family and have all 12 Brahminical qualities, but if in spite of being thus qualified, he is not devoted to the lotus feet of Lord Kṛṣṇa, who has a navel shaped like a lotus, he is not as good as a Chandala who has dedicated his mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the service of the Lord. Simply to take birth in a Brahmana family or to have Brahminical qualities is not sufficient. One must be a pure devotee of the Lord. Thus, if a Swapaka or Chandala, Swampacha or Chandala is a devotee, he delivers not only himself but his entire family as well. Whereas a Brahmana who is not a devotee but simply has Brahminical qualifications cannot even purify himself, what to speak of his family. And that is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9. And we can stop here for today. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhar Ki Jai. So we were reading how Mahaprabhu is explaining to Sanātana Gosvāmī, giving some guidance. And we continue tomorrow. Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Antya-līlā, chapter 4. Sanātana Gosvāmī visits the Lord. Jai Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Ki Jai. Who hasn't sung? You haven't sung. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana
Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana
Giridhari
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra
Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Rupa Sanātana Bhakta Raghunatha
Jaya Rupa Sanātana Bhakta Raghunatha
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunatha
Shri
साई जबे ब्रज कोइलो बास राधा कृष्ण नित्य लीला करो हे प्रकाश आनंद बोलो हरि भज वृंदावन श्री गुरु वैष्णव पदे मजिए अमान श्री गुरु वैष्णव पद पद्म कोरि आस हरि नाम संकीर्तन को है नरोत्तम दास हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नित्य गौरा हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल बोल प्रेमानंदे
Saraswati